Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have our guest and my friend Abby Millar. Hi, Abby.
Hello. Hi.
And as we get to know our friend and guest here, we're also gonna catch on some other. You said catch up. What do you mean catch up here?
Well, first of all, I don't know Abby at all. So this is
Yes.
like my first time meeting her. So it's kind of like I'm interviewing her also because I just want to get to know her. But, wait, what did you mean? Oh, the thing I put in my notes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just meant like, let's just catch up. Like, what do you mean?
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, fair.
Get up to date.
Yeah, get up to
Yeah.
date. So, cool. So what school do you go to?
I go to Parsons, and I'm in the School of Design Strategies, if that means anything.
When people like ask you like what do you do and stuff, do you usually start with your school? Like do you say you're a
No.
student?
I like skirt around it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I say I study art and design,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, oh, in New York. And then they're like, where in New York?
Oh, and then
Oh.
And then I'm always like, I study integrated design, and then there's like a whole story behind that, because nothing has a descriptive name. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
yeah, it's a long story. There's a lot to unpack. Yeah.
Do you wanna?
So,
Do you wanna?
yeah. I mean, like,
If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, like, basically, I'm studying a version of design that's, like, community-centered and around community organization.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much kind of, like, not necessarily material. Like, they talk about making commodities and, like, physical things, but then also capabilities for people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about like accessibility.
Yeah.
And then my focus, especially this semester, has been about kind of blurring the distinguish between art and life and like art and actions, and like coming back to like how different things can be looked at and perceived as beautiful, but then not necessarily comparing it to fine arts, because placing everything in a museum is like really icky for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Like museums like have a bad history in a lot of ways. Like as far as displaying artifacts, like
just like
yeah, because like so first of all, so many museums were started like stolen artifacts,
That's so true.
and then like art is very elitist in a way. So like so many people
Yeah.
were excluded from that,
Yeah.
and now people are kind of being like tokenized, and like their identities are now like a lot of what's trendy in galleries and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's awkward because they were excluded from those like environments for so long. So I like stay like arm's length away from that side of art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
That whole like thing you said about like how some cultures are like it's like trendy now and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of like shows in like like modern culture right now, like with
Mhm.
everything, like that whole. I mean, I feel like I don't even have to explain it. Like in movies and stuff, like now they're choosing like people of color as actors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're
Just
trying
to,
to, they're like,
yeah.
yeah, which is like a good thing, but also like it's a little.
We I think we talked
talked
about that.
about
Yeah,
this.
that
It's
we're
just
like don't like just representation for the sake of representation. Like if you're gonna want more representation, make new original work where like you
But
have
it's scary. Is like, is that trend gonna go away? Like, is there gonna be a
Yeah.
time they're just gonna be like, we don't care about you guys anymore? You know what I mean?
probably, man. I don't know. I think, but then again, that's what is like more funded. So now because like I don't know, like it's really screwed up because it's like that's what's hip, or like you know the movie Get Out, like that, like where this like
Yeah,
where
they all want to.
they want to be they literally want to be black, like that's really fucked up because it's like what's cool, like it's, you know what I mean, it's really like I don't know, it's a fucked up way of saying that I don't know, the representation, it's again like it's so
Yeah.
it's a popularized thing that they exclude from, and then now it's all of a sudden a trend, so they bring those things in, and I don't know if that's what you were getting at with museums.
I
but-
definitely think like representation in areas of life, like it's important to have a variety everywhere.
Yeah.
But when you're only putting the representation in structures that were very much defined by a lack of representation, it's like not even talking about what these other communities did. It's almost like comparing their objects. Oh, it's as good as a painting, or it's as good as this, but they aren't comparable.
Yeah.
And like they shouldn't be judged with the same standards at all.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So wait, are you from New York?
No, that's another like long question, I guess. I tell people I'm from Colorado, but I went to high school there, so like.
You want to expand?
Yeah. I guess I was born in Scotland, but like I moved to New York State when I was like a year old, and then when I was 9 years old, I moved to Costa Rica, and I lived there till I was about 13, and that's when I moved to Colorado.
Okay.
But when I was 15, my family moved back to Costa Rica, and I stayed in Colorado. And then I moved to New York when I was 17. So like, yeah.
Wait, seriously, I didn't know
God.
that. You were in New York since you were 17. Did you come alone?
Yeah, my freshman year I was 17 for 2 months.
Oh right, you're not.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, freshman year, 17. Wait, when's your birthday? Wait.
It was like a week ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, so
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I turned 18
Wow.
in 2018 of October.
Makes sense.
And it
Gotcha.
started in August, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like confused, but that makes sense.
That is a very interesting.
Collection.
Yeah.
Identity.
Yeah.
It's fun to like. Yeah, I think about it a lot. Sometimes I feel like I make a big deal out of it.
You don't. You don't. That's
I mean,
the second
I
time
would.
you've
To be
like,
honest, I probably would.
What?
I said I would.
You
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do I bring them up from Texas? Like,
You don't. Just kidding. I was being ironic. I was being sarcastic. But,
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Okay.
like I'm like literally pretending to be from like all my little places because like I don't feel very Coloradoan or Scottish or like New Yorker or Costa Rican like at all.
yeah.
Like I feel like one of those things that I don't get it. Like I can't connect with like the location.
We're like, well, that's interesting because we talk about that a lot, like not feeling from, and I'm not even
Yeah.
like I'm fully Arab, like 100%. I just, and still yet like being, it's not even about being Arab, like, or just being like from Kuwait, because I'm half Syrian as well. My mother's Syrian, and so like a lot of Kuwaitis didn't even know I was Kuwaiti because they're like, because I was half Syrian, or like because the dialect I speak mostly is Shami, which is like Syrian dialect or Lebanese dialect. And so like, I don't know, the whole question of identity, we bring that up a lot, just like because you have to assimilate a lot of times, and you're considered too much of either Arab or too American or too like, just I don't know. I think it's, yeah. I feel like I'm trying to like.
no, but
make
it's
it,
such a common thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying,
It's
but-
like, I feel like everyone feels like that.
Yeah, to an
Um,
extent.
And like depending on who you're around, you really have to rework it.
Yeah.
Like, every time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Felt.
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not alone in that. I wanted to ask and bring up painting because that's your
Yeah.
thing.
I love painting.
How long have you been?
Why'd you say it like that?
It's because I like a lot of different art and things.
Okay.
So I feel like it's my party trick painting. It's
Yeah.
like the one that I have as like my brand or whatever.
Well, you're really, really good at it. So
Yeah.
like, you're like insanely good.
I love it. So yeah.
How long have you
Glad
been
that
painting
shows.
for?
I've been like drawing and painting since I was probably like 10 or 11.
Mhm.
I feel like that's when a lot of people decide if they're like creative or not, like,
Yeah.
if they're artistic or not, like
Mhm.
middle school type times. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's true.
But yeah, my grandfather is an architect. I have like grandparents and great grandparents that have like creative type things in their life. My parents aren't as obviously creative, but
Mhm.
like my mom's a chef,
Hmm.
and then my dad is just like fun and he juggles and is like a teacher and makes a show out of it. So like
Love that.
yeah, he's creative too for sure.
Yeah. My family's not very well. My family's not creative. Well, my mom is very creative. My mom paints actually, but used to paint. Now she doesn't sew anymore. But like that's where.
But she still can.
Yeah, she definitely still can. She just says she doesn't have time, and like honestly, fair. She's a really busy woman, but I love like when she paints because I don't know. I feel like that's how I like. I'm not obviously I haven't spent as much time as you have in painting, but
have
like
we painted together.
Yeah, we painted
Yeah.
once
That's
together.
nice.
And actually, like at that time, well, I've only ever worked with. I honestly didn't like. I don't know shit. Like at that point, didn't know shit about painting. Like I don't know. Like using different paints made it look different. I just said, okay, acrylic, let's go. Like
I honestly like make it up half the time too. Like
What does
next
that
time I'm
mean?
talking to people, I'm just like, yeah, I really like acrylic. You know, I like mixing these different mediums into it, and I'm like using all these
These
words,
words.
but I know it's not that like
it's not that.
it's not technical at all. No.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. But no man, your work is insane. Like I don't know why, like I don't know, you should like flex more. It's like so good. It's like no,
I
but
haven't
like
seen your work.
yeah, you
I
should
should check
you
it
have
out.
to.
Yeah,
have to.
definitely. I can try and describe it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
like
kinda.
work with? What do you paint with?
So I like using, first of all, my surfaces tend to be recycled. Like, I think buying a canvas is so stupid.
Mm.
Like, we have to buy canvases for our painting class.
Every painting.
And we spent like over $100 just on canvases.
Easily.
Like,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
that's ridiculous. You should not spend that much money to make art ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, so a lot of cardboard, a lot of like reclaimed wood and stuff like that. And then I like acrylic mostly because in Costa Rica, like oil doesn't dry because it's really humid there. And I also painted my bedroom a lot, and oil is kind of toxic for that,
Mhm.
so not a great idea. And then yeah, I paint really big scale. I really try and go like life size, and I do a lot of figures. Most of the figures are me, mostly because like I think audience and like voyeurism is really creepy, and like it's also really empowering to be like the painter and the model in a lot of ways.
Definitely.
Especially like as a female painter.
I love
like,
that. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean. Like, I think, I don't know if it was the first day of class and you were like, was it you? You say I don't really paint other people? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like,
I think it's creepy. I started a series of people in the park in New York, and it's so generic, like their faces are so vague because it feels inappropriate and just like creepy. Well, my photo references are the creepy part because I'm
Yeah.
just like taking a little spy photo. Like,
Yeah.
No, but I
So-
thought that was like so interesting when you said that, and I was like, I think that was the moment I was like low key like friend crush. I was like, oh my god, like she's so cool, but I was like, she's so good at painting. Like I don't know shit about painting. Like I don't know if she wants to be like friends, but yeah, I don't know. That when you said that, it like really, it stuck with me.
honestly, like our teachers were kind of terrible in that class, but like the community I found in the class, like not just you, like
Yeah.
so many people
Yeah.
that I feel comfortable just walking up to and like talking to,
Yeah.
like, painting and stuff.
Honestly.
It's super fun.
And honestly, like I thought it'd be more intimidating just because like I'm not good at painting at all.
You also are like at Parsons, so like you haven't had the first year
Yeah.
course like everybody else.
Yeah.
So like we've taken a
I'm
drawing
not
and
lying.
imaging. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
at Parsons.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
You're
Not
good.
at
You're good.
Parsons,
Yeah.
So we had drawing and imaging, which was basically composition and like all the things she was supposed to teach us in the syllabus.
Yeah.
And then she didn't teach us any of that, which we were okay
You're
with.
literally teaching
but
me half the class.
There's like 5 people who are not okay with missing all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I draw and whatever, but it's not like I probably definitely need like
No, it's
help.
actually like you need to have multiple drawing classes. I'd say,
Yeah.
Before
You-
it actually kicks in.
Yeah, and she literally told me like as we were reviewing my painting, she's like, you need to learn how to draw before you can paint. And I was like, lady, like teach you how
Not
to
your
draw.
job.
She's like, to paint you need to draw, and I was like,
But you don't. And she's an
Yeah.
abstract painter.
yeah,
That's
she's an
the
abstract
crazy-
painter.
Yeah. Have you seen her work?
Barely.
It's all abstract. She doesn't draw. I've never seen her draw before.
Yeah, and she's like, you need to draw your thing. And I understand having like context for my painting, like having a foreground and that stuff. Like that's what I did. By the way, it's literally untouched. So I need to like.
We don't have to bring it in because we're working in the park.
I know, but is she gonna ask to see it?
No, because I'm not bringing any of that in. Like extra canvases with our other stuff to work in the park. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I'll ask you more questions about tomorrow later because I have more questions. But anyway, but yeah. I don't know. Just like I find that crazy. Like you're literally teaching me 90% of the class.
That's how school should be, I think. Like learning from your peers more than your teacher even.
Yeah.
Especially when you're adults. Like you don't need a babysitter.
Yeah.
You barely need the teacher there.
Seriously.
Yeah, half the time the teacher is like, I guess for accountability for certain reasons, just for like grading, but then like they're kind of hindering a lot of learning experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think we talked about that. Like, people learn better whenever they feel like they're equals.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't like, especially when we're like adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So also, what I didn't like in the spring was that how you're saying like your teacher was an abstract painter, but she's like supposed to be teaching you how to draw stuff with like composition and stuff. It's like exactly, and it's like one of my teachers was like a musician, but he was like teaching us how to edit video, and I'm just like so confused. I'm like, how am I supposed to trust your advice? Not in like a salty way, but just like I'm paying all this money. It's like I would expect that you have your own like expertise in this, but
yeah, seeing the teacher's work is honestly like part of the learning experience.
Yes.
They're supposed to be like a professional and an example for you, but if they literally don't do what they're teaching you to do, or they don't have examples of it even, like it doesn't have to be the primary thing they know, but they have to have an example
of something that to
like,
prove like it's a credibility thing. Like you need to trust that your advice is from a place that I can achieve a certain good standard, you know.
Also, just demonstration's a great way to learn.
Yeah.
So if they were painting like alongside us, you could peer over and look like.
I wish it was painting with us.
That's how I learn. I always have to just see someone do something. Or see their stuff. Yeah.
Which honestly, that's why I like love looking around the room or like at your stuff, because like I'm like, okay, so like she had a foreground out, she did this, okay, like just like putting down step like helped me a lot. And also, what you and also our other friend Kelsey, like just a lot of what you guys put on, like it just
Kelsey
helps.
works digitally, so like,
it's interesting.
It is so much better than the way I approach it. It's so much more organized and like.
Yeah,
I mean whatever. Copy her.
No, but like I feel like hers is more technical. I don't know. I feel like I couldn't. I don't know. I mean, everyone has their own way, right?
Definitely. That's the thing I didn't like about Beverly is every time I'm like, well, this is the way I do it. Yeah. She corrects you, which should not be the case. Yeah. Like, I'm achieving it just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
So how would you, this is kind of a weird question, but like, how do you want people to see you?
It's a really weird question.
It's interesting.
That's a good question though.
Like when you walk into like your art classroom.
I'm so uncomfortable by the idea of people seeing me like half the time. Yeah. I like the idea of being like kind of the way I see people that I admire, where it's like, oh, I could be like them theoretically, like even if it's not the literal thing they're doing, but like the mentality of it. Yeah. Inspiring, I guess that's the word. Mm-hmm. So approachable in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, I really don't like feeling like I'm the only artist or like the only creative person or like, special. I don't like feeling special.
You don't like feeling special.
I want other people to be like me.
Yeah. You want like, you feel a sense of like,
I love sharing things with people like that. Yeah, like interests and hobbies and
like being work. At par with everyone, kind of.
Well, it's like we all have like our different strengths and things we bring to the table, so we're not the same. Yeah. But like we have like a lot of shared things. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, shared parts of our identity and like things we just know.
And it makes it like human. like because no one's
Exactly.
obviously like God, like that's not.
Wait, so do you think there's something about like maybe your childhood or something that makes you feel like you always want to be surrounded by creatives?
I was always told that I had like attention problems and stuff, and like all that. So, like,
They're always telling that to the creative kids.
Yeah.
so yeah, I think they tell us we are creative. Like it's another way of saying that, and then it's like
That's
we're
a good-
allowed to exercise
Exactly.
our creativity, so we get better at being creative. I
Yeah.
could have been good at a lot of things. Like I'm not like that attached to any one direction really.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel that so much. Yeah.
I've
not
worked really
yeah.
hard to be creative though, so I definitely have a lot to work with here. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
And I feel like that's super important to take into account that it's not just, oh, you're talented, like at being creative. Like it's because you have these interests in things that you put work into, and it's what makes you good at, makes you a creative. Because you like something, you put work into it. I mean, I feel like that's common sense, but
Also, like creative people are allowed to be interested in other things.
that's
that
what
are
I'm
not
saying.
creative.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's like probably like programming. Like
Mhm.
that's probably one of the least. I mean, it's creative in some way because there's like some design aspect to it, but a lot of it is very like logical.
Mhm.
Like there is only one answer to a problem. Like you can't have multiple solutions. It's just like if you have one letter wrong, one character wrong, the whole thing doesn't work. So for me, that's kind of fun. I don't know. There's something about it. Like it's so logical. Like you have to have every piece correct for it to work. And something about that is so fun. But that's the opposite of creativity, right? Like there's no open-mindedness with that at all. So
That's really interesting.
yeah. But I hate that whenever we're all kids, they just tell us that we're like distracted or whatever. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe it's somewhat true, but I don't know.
No, I don't subscribe to that. I think it's like a weird preferred mode of productivity that like doesn't match most of the population, and like they're ostracizing us for like no reason. Like people are just different.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
think-
need
I
to
think
be
they probably just don't
medicated
get
to,
it.
Like function on the same level. Well, okay, I'm very scared of medication. I don't want to be like mean to other people who like use it as a tool and
Mhm.
like it and like need it. But like people like threatening to like medicate me in some way really freaks me out, and like I don't like the idea that I have to do that in order to like feel like I fit in or like
Yeah.
can keep up,
Yeah.
because I can do a lot of things like even if it's not.
Yeah.
Do you mean like in the sense that like when like kind of ostracizing creatives to like I don't know, like kind of put them, I don't know, like
Just when people like make you feel weird or bad for like not having the exact wording or answer, or like but you're still getting to the
Yeah.
conclusion, or you're arriving somewhere
Mhm.
and like you're working on it, but it's like yeah, it's kind of like holding people to standards.
That's
in
how I
general.
felt about like essays
Yeah.
in my English class, because I never thought of myself as like a bad writer, but my professor always told me that I was, just because I never did like the structures, because they like taught you how to
yeah.
structure it like in a very specific way, how
Mhm.
it had to be exactly 5 paragraphs or whatever, and it depends depending on the goal of the article or whatever, the structure changes. And some of the rules like kind of make sense, but a lot of them are all just like bullshit. Like they were just created by someone else. Why is it that is the only way that we have to write essays? Because in the end of the day, isn't it about what the essay is saying rather than how it's structured? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there's a more effective way of telling it than what the structure is, what's so wrong with that?
As long as it accomplishes a goal, like then why does it matter how it
It's structured. It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah. That's how I felt about my writing. That's actually really funny because that's how I felt about my writing in my AP like language and whatever composition class, like those AP classes. And so like it's intimidating because like
Yeah.
I'm not like in high school I didn't bring straight A's, like so I just took the class because I wanted APs on my thing, and like my mom and sister said it looked good, so I was like, okay, let me do writing. Like I think I'm okay at it. I think I'm decent. So I did it, and throughout the year, like my teacher would find like a lot of things wrong with my writing, but then like comes the AP exam and I got a 4 out of 5. And I was not expecting that at all, because throughout the year I was getting C's on my essays. I was like a 4 out of 5, like, I don't know. But like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, to what standard, like, I don't know, I agree with like how it's so standardized, and like they make you feel bad for not doing something a certain way.
And people can make you feel bad so easily, and then it really,
Oh, yeah.
like, loses all your momentum.
Literally.
Yeah, because now
I don't
anytime
even
someone
wanna
asks
learn.
me what my weakness is, I always just say writing.
Yeah.
Even though, like, truthfully, I actually don't think I'm that bad at writing. I think I've just been told so many times that I'm like failing at all those essay projects or whatever, like getting bad grades. Like now, it's just in my mind, I'm like, but really, it was just that one teacher's decision has now made me feel like I'm a bad writer for years to come, which is like a terrifying feeling that one person got to decide that.
That's insane. Like, think about that for a second. Like, especially in like high school days, or like any time we were graded, just growing up in school, like a teacher like always say I'm bad at math, I'm bad at this, but honestly, like I was pretty good at math. I just hated it. I hated it so much, and it's not that I was bad at it, that I didn't do good at it, but the way that it was taught and teachers structured things just made it so difficult for me to like do better. And like I actually loved like solving problems and stuff. I don't know, teachers, like especially math teachers growing up, I've had my geometry teacher was the chillest teacher ever, and I aced that class through and through, like without even trying. But I don't know, I think math is my example for that, because it's like yours is programming, mine's, I don't know, I still like math, and now I just feel like I'm bad at it because I was told, like I was showing it so many times. For my pre-cal class, I had a tutor twice a week for an hour and a half, and I still got a C. Twice a week, and this guy made me solve problems like in and out, but I just was not, I don't know. Me and math have a long history. But
So I like asking people this question because everyone has like drastically different answers sometimes. What is like your ultimate career goal? Like, what is your like dream? You know, everyone here has like, do you think, and you're allowed to say that you're still thinking about it.
because I
have like a lot of things that I'm into and interested. I don't really think of like jobs as much. I want to like be in a community of some kind and feel like I'm a part of it, and of service to people. Like that's a pretty important thing to me as far as jobs go. I don't need to do something if it's like non-essential to
Wait.
like
So
people's happiness or life or something, like
Mhm.
like food, education, shelter, clean water and air.
Yeah,
Those are my priorities, I'd say.
I actually love that, because I feel like we get so caught up in things that, I mean, they're not unnecessary to like create things that, you know, don't provide those basic needs. Like, not like, obviously, like it's still nice to create those things, but I always like that, because I don't know, to an extent I feel like that's sometimes how I feel. Like, not, I don't strive for it in the way you do, because like I don't take the feeling seriously, and I don't know why, but like I just like have these like urges that I need to be like, it's very humanitarian, like it definitely is. And so like I feel like, what's my purpose if I'm not doing these things, like not doing communal things, especially growing up in a collectivist society. Like you care about the collective more so than the individual, so you think like, what do I have to even offer for everything if I don't have something to offer for the collective? Is my individual being like even doesn't have a purpose? And so like, I don't know, I just found that interesting that you said that, because I get those feelings sometimes, and I think it's super cool that that's what you want to do. But
That's my priority. I mean, I've been studying and thinking about this for so long, and I'd say this semester is actually the first time that I took steps to work in that direction.
Mhm.
Like in my studio work, like I'm basically thinking about different actions in life as art, and the action in my practice that I'm doing this semester is tutoring kindergarten for like 2 hours a week. And like I just like had to make time for myself to like volunteer for something that I cared about. Like that was kind of my objective, because I never made time for myself to do that before.
I
In
love
a
that.
community, yeah.
I think that's sick.
Cool.
I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I really like that. I like, especially artists who, I don't know, feel like just anyone who creates or does art, like not necessarily painting, like anything. I feel like it's become, and this is like a very capitalist point of view, but like you look so selfish because you're like doing something for, or at least like, I don't know, back home, I forgot, I don't want to call any like family member out, but like I was told that like it's very selfish of me to like do that or get into a creative field just because what does it have to offer for the world? Like if you're not a lawyer, you're not helping anyone. If you're not a doctor, you're not helping anyone. If you're not any of these traditional jobs, like you're not helping anyone. But in a sense, that's like you're not any of these traditional things, but you are still like giving necessity or in a way like.
Really funny you mentioned that because I actually, one of my worst experiences first year with a teacher was I low-key didn't attack her. I just kind of said in an essay that if you're an artist and you're not directly speaking to a community and working in a community, and that isn't a clear tie in your work, then your art doesn't deserve to be shown, basically. it was kind of at her, like.
No, but speak up for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely think that it is like artists can be super selfish. No. And it's okay to like take care of yourself in all ways and have your own practice and make art for you. But you need to know that there's like a privilege in being able to have the time to be curious and make and things like that.
Yeah, to pursue something you like actually love and not have to fall into a traditional job to be of service, but to like have that privilege to just create something solely for your like solely that you like and spend time doing something you like rather than settling for a job you hate that is of service to people or makes you financially stable, like is definitely a blessing.
Yeah, and then when it's more in conversation with the people around you, like they value it more immediately. So then it's an easy way to create value in your work, I'd say. And like,
wait, so what do you mean? Do you mean like art shouldn't be shown if it's just meant to like entertain?
No, not at all. Because like I love entertainment. Like I think play and like being playful about things is super important, and like not taking things that seriously is also super important.
Yeah.
And I think most of the time if you say anything and you put it out there, it'll resonate with someone. So like it's kind of hard to make art completely selfish unless you're like hurting someone in a way.
Yeah.
By making it.
That's interesting.
Oh, so is that what you mean? Like art that is like hateful
like
or something?
Or if you're just like reinstating patriarchy or something broad, like, and you're like not even acknowledging like a larger conversation around like who you are and like how you fit in to the larger conversation of like art and the world and the collective dreaming kind of idea.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know like why you asked that question because like it seemed for a second like
I definitely don't want to give people that idea.
No, I know. Yeah, it's not that like you can't create like something that
it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
My point wasn't like it's supposed to be fun. My point was more like, then I just don't know what would be considered selfish art then, right? Because I feel like everything kind of has a purpose then. Like comedy isn't art, and it's very
I feel like are kind of selfish because they literally hang up in my room and they're of me, so like people feel really weird putting them up in their own spaces.
Yeah.
And so when I do my paintings, I feel kind of like I'm pursuing my selfish part of my art for sure.
Interesting. I don't know, but you see, even that, if that was in a gallery, right? Like, don't you think
I would never put them in a gallery. That's not allowed. Like.
But I mean, like, someone what if someone resonates with that painting? Maybe like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Like.
Or maybe like the style it inspired them, and now they're gonna go home and start painting.
I think it's impossible, like, if you're sharing it with someone to, like, be selfish about it because you're sharing it and, like, that's special, like, and that's part of putting yourself in the community. But, yeah, I definitely make stuff I don't share. So,
no, fair.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
I never really thought about it.
Yeah, like, I actually never thought about it, like, that way.
I try not to overthink it either because it's like almost punishing or like it's like holding myself to a weird standard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm too mean to myself and like you have to behave and be nice to people. And like
but you're not. What are you like? Well, you're not nice though. Like I don't see that.
No, you seem very thoughtful.
Yeah,
I
truly.
try. I
But
really
you
go
seem
for
you
it.
seem very much like, it doesn't sound like you're just very like willy nilly just following what everyone else is doing. It sounds
Yeah.
like you like even when you're talking about like the recycled canvas and you're like, why would I spend more money on a new canvas?
Yeah.
Like I personally had never thought about that. Like you're just very thoughtful. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you actually like, not to throw anyone under the bus, but it like sounds like you're passionate about what you do.
Definitely. I love being, well, it took me a while to like be comfortable with being an artist and stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't like the traditional gallery thing, and I actually like got accepted to this boarding school my junior year for painting and stuff, and I
Damn.
was like, no, I don't want to paint for like 8 hours a day, and like
Yeah.
yeah, so I stayed with my friends in Colorado instead, and like that was a big pivotal point, I'd say, in just like realizing to myself like that I am an artist in like a wider sense of a lot
Yeah.
of things. Yeah. And like this semester, like I do paint, but
Mm-hmm.
I have like this new sport I've taken on. It's my new art form,
Yes.
my performance art.
Please.
Yeah, like this semester I'm like obsessed with performance art, and like the whole idea of like the stuff I'm doing in my studio work with the kindergartners, that in a way is performance art, because it's like this experience we're having between the people who are present, and it's in the moment and it's hard to capture and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been like really scared of dance and like acting and all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like I freak out in front of cameras, like taking photos. I'm like camera
I'm
shy
the same.
too,
I'm
like,
very much the
I don't
same.
like
That's
that.
why filming. Anyway.
yeah.
I don't want to. Whoa, it's
Yeah.
close. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, like this August I started doing aerial silks, so I'm like an amateur acrobat now.
Oh, what?
She's
It's,
crazy.
Like,
No,
really
she's-
fun.
I think it's
That's
so
cool.
cool.
And like I'm like starting to actually build up some of the foundation around it, so I'm like actually thinking about like the transitions and moments and like pausing and
Oh my
like
God.
being more elegant
I love
about
that.
it, and, like, pointing my toes right.
I love
and, like,
that.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm like, I don't know, I'm like so happy for you about that because it's actually so
A
dope.
well-rounded
Like,
artist. Yeah.
yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I'm also terrified of performative art. Like, I used to want to middle school. I really wanted to be an actress, like so bad, but I was terrified. Like, it was so ironic because I did theater like for 2 seconds. My biggest role was the Elven Queen in The Hobbit, and even then I messed up my line, and I didn't realize it because I was so nervous until I got off stage and someone told me I messed up my line, and I was like terrified. Like, I have very bad stage fright. I'm like very camera shy. I think the reason that's why even this podcast low-key like scared me, but like if it's just my voice,
We're
Yeah,
taking
you
it
try.
little by little, you know?
yeah, and it's just my voice, and if I like, the most thing I have confidence is in what I have to say or what I think. That's a lie. But sometimes when I'm confident about, when I know it's something like I'm sure about enough, like I feel confident speaking on it, so that's why I'm here. But also because I love to do this. I like to like hear people. I like to question myself. I like to like have someone change my mind. I like to make a point. I like to talk to my friends, make art, and I want to hear what, philosophically in relation to art, what they have to say, and philosophy of art, I guess. I don't know if that's the correct terming, but yeah, that's crazy. But
It's really like beneficial to talk to other artists and like see
Seriously.
how they work and stuff. I also like haven't really talked to, well, that's a lot. I've talked to painters, but I haven't talked to like painters about painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would love to see your work because now I'm curious because I have no idea what it looks like.
yeah, you can.
Pull it up or something. at
We'll
some
do
point.
it. We'll do it after.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So why did you choose New York?
Well, from like when I was a year old to when I was 9 years old, I lived in Middletown, New York, which is like 90 minutes
90
north
minutes?
from here. Yeah, it's like super close to here. It's like a commuter town technically. And I honestly, it's not the same. Like I thought it was like moving home low key. Like But I mean, I was 9 when I moved away, so I don't remember a lot. And then I lived on like in the forest, so this isn't the forest. Like, it's definitely different. Now that I'm here, like I guess I still have connections and community, but yeah, I was kind of thinking about New York or Scotland because there aren't great art schools in Colorado, and I don't speak good enough Spanish to study in Costa Rica. So
you figured it was a good...
I was like, it's like going home and I'll have a connection. I really hate moving around, so like I hate making
I can
friends,
understand.
and
It's
I
like...
hate like starting in new schools. So it's honestly one of my reasons I'm like so committed to this school. Like my mom's like, why don't you just transfer, because you're constantly complaining about your school. And I was like, but then I'd have to start at a new school. Like
It's like a complicated relationship.
Yeah.
It's like too long. So
too much moving around.
Yeah, so I felt like I was coming back home in a way. And like sometimes when the weather is just like a certain way, I'm like, oh, I felt this before or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that. It's an interesting choice. Now that I'm here, I'm always like, what am I doing here? But I was like 17, you know? Like that felt so long ago. I guess like not that long ago.
you're like the first person I've talked to who's like not like super like
jazzed, happy to be here. Like,
yeah, because everyone's like, oh my god, I love New York. Like it's been my
it's
dream
not
to
my
be here,
speed.
and you're just like, oh, it's just like because you know Colorado, and it sounds like it's just like your last choice.
Honestly, like, I kind of applied to Parsons because I thought I was really young, and it was like the only school I was applying to. So I was like, I don't know, like we'll see.
Wait,
and then I got a scholarship, and everyone's like, you're going to Parsons. And I was like, yeah.
Okay, everyone who applied to the school, literally, like everyone has a funny story. Everyone's like, this is the only school I applied to. Like Marco applied to like a few, and this was like
this is one of the only like 2 accepted me, and this one gave me a scholarship.
Literally, so literally like the very few chances, and then me, like how I got into the school was I wrote my like entry essay 10 minutes before the deadline, submitted it, and was like, okay, well, let's hope. Like it wasn't because it wasn't the school I wanted to go to, but I got accepted, and it's in New York, and
I reused an essay for my application. It was like a British literature essay that I had, and I just submitted it.
What?
Oh my god.
What?
I had like a portfolio and everything. Like,
okay,
The essay part, I did not put a ton of work into.
Yeah, no, who does, man, anymore? It's tiring.
I forgot what I put in my portfolio thing.
I didn't even send. I'm in Lang, so I just had to write an essay.
Yeah.
Bro, 10 minutes before the deadline, that still cracks me up. I don't know what I even wrote.
Oh, I submitted mine literally at like 11:59.
Literally, that's what I'm saying.
So bad.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm still wondering how. Anyway.
Yeah,
Swap.
I actually submitted mine early decision, but my second quarter of my senior year, I went on like this backpacking trip with a bunch of teenagers through Southeast Asia. So I was literally like putting my portfolio together in the hotel in San Francisco at like 3:30 in the morning, like, and I was flying out to Hong Kong like 6 p.m. that day. And I was like still working on my portfolio, like putting like backgrounds around it and stuff.
No.
And then I like submitted it and cried until I got on my flight, basically.
Oh my god, why? You like?
It was like a release. Like,
oh, okay.
I was so overwhelmed because I was like getting on a plane to go across the country, or across the world, not the country, across the world, for like 8 weeks, and it was like by myself with like a bunch of people I didn't know. And I was applying to the only school I was going to apply to.
Boy, you're so badass.
Like, it was like a big weekend for me.
You're like, honestly, every conversation we've had so far, like I'm just more and more amused. Like I'm genuinely more amused. Damn, I'm really glad I got you. Like, yeah, this is a whole adventure on this episode. Love it. Ricardo, how are we doing? Want to catch up?
On time? Oh,
on time. How much time? Oh, okay.
I mean, we can keep going. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we can. That's not saying.
We could talk about.
This is stressing you out. I can.
No, it's. Oh, is that? Was it a minute?
No, 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We could still talk about friendships or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I
Isn't
don't
that a
know.
good point?
Yeah, but like.
I don't know we'd get this much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I wish we had interviewed. But for the future, I would like to interview people like this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, like actually interview them.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert, or do you think you just haven't even thought about it?
I definitely get a lot of energy from being alone. Like, I love being alone.
You say like majority of the time an introvert.
Yeah, but I really love my friends too. So
Mm.
I don't like.
I think introverts
identifying
can
as
love
like
their
an
friends.
introvert.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have commitment issues, I guess, with that. But like identifying as an introvert, I feel like sometimes like belittles the friendships and like the social experiences you have. And
Yeah.
like I can't be social like 24/7, but I definitely love being social.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
definitely.
I definitely feel like the introvert extrovert thing sometimes gets a little like. It
Confusing.
just sounds a little dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very
Or-
like black and white, binary kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like I feel
Yeah.
like to an extent you're like always both. I don't
So I
know.
feel like introverts have there's such a negative like connotation.
Yeah. Or like quirky, like I'm introvert. Like
Because for me, it's really just depending on the day.
yeah.
Also, it's just kind of like common sense. If I have like a lot of stuff to do in a day, I'm obviously gonna be
Yeah,
like,
you're occupied. But,
yeah, like I'm gonna have less energy to talk to someone.
Well, obviously, like weekend comes, like you don't want to be alone. Like you kind of want to.
Exactly.
Unless I don't know. I only find that when I'm like super busy in the week, or like I've been doing so much in the week with other people that like I need to breathe, and like that way, like my weekend, I just.
But then it gets complicated because it's like I want to be social, but I don't want to meet new people. I just want to hang out with my friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, is that an introverted trait or an extroverted? Because introverted, by the description, you would want to be completely alone, but by the extroverted description, you want to talk to more people, new people. But it's like, so what is?
there's in between.
Yeah, so sometimes.
Recently, like I think a lot of New Yorkers do this, but I started like hanging out in more public places totally alone. Like eating
Yeah.
a meal by yourself, but then also like
I still
I
wanted. I
went to a
haven't
couple
done that.
concerts by myself recently, and I love just like sitting there, like standing there, just like there.
That's.
You know, I
Not
agree
with
with you
people
on
who
the
are, like,
public
really
spaces
into
thing, but
music.
not the concert thing.
You don't like going to concerts alone?
No, I did that once, and I did not like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I'm okay with just like staring into space for like an hour in between acts. Like,
No, I just get like jealous because then I look around and everyone's having fun with their friends or their like significant other, and I'm just like there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something I don't know.
I know what you mean.
Just the
I
personal
felt that
opinion.
recently at a concert because it was like a band that I listened to with my friends in high school constantly, and then I was like constantly videoing the concert, sending them the videos.
Oh.
So I definitely miss them. It was, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
skewed my experience.
I think I could enjoy a concert alone. I haven't.
Depends on the person too, because if
Yeah.
you're like really into music,
It doesn't it doesn't phase me.
Yeah, I also don't think it's gonna ruin the concert. Like it didn't ruin it for me. It was
Yeah,
just like, I
it's
felt
just-
like it would have been better if I went.
Yeah, definitely. Like it definitely could
Yeah.
elevate.
it
the,
depends on the band though, because like I saw this person that I listened to literally like every morning to piece myself together like alone.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single person in the world I would have wanted to go to the concert with.
Mhm.
Maybe my best friend from high school, but like for the most part, I was pretty happy just
Yeah.
like singing to myself really loudly. No one could. No
I mean,
one
that's
could
cool,
be
yeah.
there. And everyone was so much older than me too, because I guess I'm like a younger audience for like this general singer.
Mhm.
So I felt very anonymous. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, no, I think I could definitely like, especially if that's the artist I'm going to listen to, like definitely could go alone because I love like I really love music a lot, and artists generally just mean so much to me, like musical
I get
artists.
starstruck for sure.
I get so
Doesn't
starstruck,
matter
even if
about
I'm
the
not
artist.
like talking to them. Like they're literally there, like singing the song to me that I've been listening to for so long, and now it's like
And you're like you've been through so
much with that
with
song.
me.
Like literally, like I saw my favorite band that I loved since like 5th grade, and I saw them live. I went with my sister, but I like Like you just know like all the songs and like I don't know. It's just such a. I want to be at a concert.
When you have like a new favorite song just by the way they played it, and you're like, oh, I've never thought of it this way.
Exactly. Oh my god, I love concerts, but yeah, I think yeah.
Do you think that friends can be connections?
Whoa.
Like work connections?
Yeah. I'd say my work is very influenced by my friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, working with your friends is really fun. I mean, like, obviously you have to be respectful of your friends because they're your friends.
Yeah.
But you should be respectful of everybody you work with. It shouldn't matter. Like, yeah.
But are you ever scared that maybe you're just taking advantage of your friends' like skills rather than like just enjoying their friendship?
I definitely use my friends as a crutch a lot in certain situations. Like either socially or just like, for example, this summer I was in Colorado and like my family's moved out of Colorado for a while now, so I was on my friend's sofas like between their house in like northern Colorado and then like my friend in Denver, like just like divorced parents like driving me around and like dropping me off and taking care of me while they worked and like but we love hanging out. It's fun. Like.
Yeah. No, but
you
you
don't
know,
have to. You know.
what are friends for? Like
Exactly. I try and do a lot for my friends, so like.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't ask things of them.
Yeah.
Because it's a reciprocated kind of thing.
Yeah, and also like the mentality I've noticed, like I don't know. I feel like for here it's shifted a bit. Not with everyone I know here, but like back home it's like don't even worry about it. Like I got you. Like don't even like no. Like I'm gonna do this and this for you. Like don't even like because it's so collectivist. Like everyone like if you're not like this person's like take a bullet for them, even if they're like you're. Like you have to give that energy even if this person is not your best friend. Like it has to be that energy just because it's so like it's like just like it's hospitality. Like
no, it's kind of like that in Costa Rica too.
Yeah.
Like one time I got a flat tire and I was driving around with the flat and then, like, I barely noticed. And this guy was like, "You have a flat tire. Like you should stop." And then he started fixing my tire for me.
No way.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, honestly, but like
keep going. Yeah,
that's how it should be. Like here, like it's so individualist that I'm not saying everyone's like that because like obviously not the case. Like so many people I know just like help me like and I'm like oh like thank you, but just like don't want to look out for you or like just don't care enough or like
it's just not the same. Like
yeah, it's not the same.
Like,
it's not culture. Yeah, it's not. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've noticed that. Like especially having like my family like warn me of that like before I move like not like it's not like Arabs like no one's like it's not the same like energy that they give you like kind of everyone's for themselves so look out for yourself like being told that like I was needed because like there have been a lot of times like that where people are just not considerate like generally, which I expect, so like it doesn't hurt me or affect me in any way because like I know to expect that when I come here, but when I come home and I realize just how much more like how much more consideration just like how much I just feel like I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder if it's like there's so many services here that you pay for that people would do for free for you in other places that like
definitely that's a big example.
Uncommon for people to do those services for you now. Like.
No, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I could talk on, and I think I've probably mentioned it like every episode. Maybe not every episode, but like I always mention like collectivist and individualist societies because I think it's so interesting. Like, because that's when I grow up around entirely, and it makes you feel like you're in a little bubble, like, and the world does not exist around you. But like that's why it's good to travel, right? That's why it's good to like to move to places like here where I don't know, it's just a completely opposite. But it's interesting because you learn a lot about yourself and like what you're used to, and how your relations to people change and how you treat your relationships to different people. I think it's really interesting. But yeah, just wanted to point that out.
interesting. I never saw it. I don't know. I feel like when I go to Mexico, like there is that collectivism, but like only within families, not like with strangers, because people are still like struggling. So it's kind of like everyone's just taking what they can. So any service you can imagine, they charge. So So it's kind of like kind of the opposite. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
Yeah.
the like homeless people here in the U.S. are just kind of like asking for money, but people in Mexico will literally wash your car and then ask for money afterwards. And so you have to tell them, no, don't wash my car. You have to like yell at them. Sometimes you have to like get out of the car and be like, don't wash my car. But like, and it's like some people will see it as like, oh, like they're being nice, but sometimes it's like not. I mean, it's not nice because then they're gonna ask you for money afterwards. You know what I mean? Because everyone's just so desperate. Everyone needs something.
Yeah.
So, but like when it comes to family, it's like family will like kill for each other. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's so
100%.
collectivist.
And that's like that's why I say I don't mean that. Like, let me clarify. I don't mean that like strangers will do that. Like usually it's even with strangers, like they should have a good like impression. Like you should do that. But like your friends, I mean, like friends are very collectivist. Like it's very cliquey, but that's also with a lot of collectivist countries. But like I just mean like, because it's the same in Kuwait. Like every like people like fill your gas for you. You pay people to do that. You don't fill your own gas. Like that's an example that here you do by yourself. But like people like there's a job for everything. But and that's what makes most of Kuwait's economy is like literally these expats and unfortunately like these laborers that. Not a whole other topic, but really not treated fairly at all, and there's so much domestic abuse. But regardless, the point is that they get paid for these things. It's not to the extent like you were saying in Mexico, but like definitely like that's what I mean. Like not strangers, but like still, like obviously it's given that you should treat those kind of laborers with respect, the same way you would treat your friend with respect. Like that's very much given. And although like I think a lot of people in Kuwait don't, and very privileged people don't, and spoiled people don't, very like careless about people in poverty or people struggling or people who literally left their families back home just to feed them with currency that is not even enough to whatever. I don't want to get this is so depressing. I can't. But I'm just putting my voice out there for the Kuwait situation, and I bet many other countries did struggle with this, but anyways.
Topic for another day. Sure. Well, thank you, Abby, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Hopefully one day we will work on something together, maybe.
Definitely.
Who knows? Nouf, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you for coming. Okay. I'm gonna see you like tomorrow, but I was really like excited to bring you on.
Especially since you had like class and everything today, right? Yeah. So
so thank you like honestly
dealing with all your
My
stuff today.
brain is so switched on right now. Like I'm
really
I'm happy to like keep going.
I'm glad.
Because the whole purpose is like we want to feel as like natural as possible.
Yeah,
just having a
Yeah,
conversation.
I really don't like stage.
Like having a script sounds like terrible.
Do
That sounds
podcasts have
terrible.
scripts anymore, or do they generally like?
Of course, but there are different kinds of podcasts, right? Like there are narrative podcasts,
Oh.
and then there's some that are like
More
reviewers.
Journalism type things.
Journalism.
We'll have like
Yeah, like my sister, 'cause she's a podcast producer, she has to like edit scripts and stuff. Like she has to look over.
Seriously.
Yeah, and they do it by time. Like by this time to this time, they talk about.
No,
like,
I
it's
could
very
never.
specific.
I could never.
So I think whenever I told her I'm doing a podcast, she was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Like you're gonna do that?" I'm like, "Well, no, we're just like recording ourselves having a conversation." She's like, "Oh," it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot better. And like I feel hopefully like that was more comfortable for you not to have like.
Yeah, and we'll see when I listen back on it and I have to listen to myself.
You get over it. That was me
You get
like
over it.
first episode, and I was like,
Do
but
you
then
listen
I listened to it over.
I
and
always
over again.
listen back and I
Yeah.
like hear them, but like it's only because I like to rethink about what I said and like think if I still believe what I said or like I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I change my
Yeah.
mind.
That's
about
why I tell you to-
things I said
Yeah, literally
tomorrow.
me like indecisive. But yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.